Hey YouTubers, good morning, Robb Oven. Guys, this video is for people who have never used a hurricane lantern, a little oil lantern before. I purchased this Dietz and it came just a short while ago and it was not working. It was difficult to use the lever for it to go up and other things were wrong. And I thought to myself, I've used these before since a kid. We had them, we call them hurricane lanterns. We'd use them when the power went out and the hurricane came on. But if you've never used one before, it might be something that would think it was broken, or you would want to send it back, or you might break it by trying to move something. Let me show you. There is, when you get your oil lamp, this particular type, there's inside here is a wire, a spring, and that spring allows you to lift up this top, and you can do it this way, but they have a lever here that allows you and then lock it. But when it comes it just comes from the factory. In this case, this one, the paint was sticking and it was binding. This lever wouldn't budge. You couldn't pull this up. But I knew that this was supposed to go up. But if you didn't know that, you might be doing all sorts of things thinking it was broke. Now, this design, it has holes here and it lets air come in and it recirculates down through the bottom and back up the top here out. So it's one of the later designs for oil lamps. It's supposed to be brighter than the others. Actually, I've never used the other two types that you can still buy. This is I think it's a Comet. It's very similar to the ones you get in Walmart, but I think this is supposed to be much better manufactured. I haven't used the one at Walmart. The way that we're going to take it apart, the way that it operates is, obviously I just said you have this lever here that opens up and you can put a match inside where the little wick is. This is the little control to make the wick go up and down. You only want like maybe a quarter of an inch sticking up. You have to make sure your wick is soaked for at least an hour before you use it. And then when you do use it, they don't mention it in any of the literature, but you should probably put it outside for a couple hours and have it burn off all the paint and everything, the residue. And you can unlock that. It'll come back down. If you want to open it up, you can hold it this way and pull it, and then this globe will fall back. There's a little hinge right here. So you can tell which side it goes on. This part here, it comes off. There's little dog ears on both sides, a little piece of metal. And this part, you can see right here, fits under those little dog ears. There's one here and there's one on the other side. And if you had to replace the wick, this was how you do it. When you trim your wick, you want to make sure it's flush and flat and square. You don't want it rounded off on the sides. And this tank inside holds, I think, about 6 ounces, about 3/4 of a cup. You don't want to fill it up all the way. I think over the years, using these, when people fill them up too high, what happens is they end up leaking, and then they think something is wrong with the lamp. The little spout, or it doesn't come with a spout, but the little hole here, the cap has a little rubber gasket. If you would ever put any grease on this, make sure it doesn't get on the rubber gasket, because some grease will degrade rubber. I think silicone is probably the best for something that won't degrade the rubber. You don't want to cross thread it, because that's where it could leak too. Allegedly, if these would tip over, the lamp would cause the wick, the flame, to extinguish in about 10 seconds. I've never tested that. You always want to assume that's not going to happen. That you could. These are dangerous to have in the house. You know, it's a flame and it's a liquid that could spread. You know, it's not a good thing. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, this part swivels. So get down there. So all in all, this part should be fitting better. You've got a little bit of a hole there. Okay. Well, that's the Dietz globe, and I prefer to hang mine instead of to leave it on flat, so that way it doesn't get knocked over anywhere. But if it comes to you and it doesn't budge, just fiddle with it for a while and get it loose, because this part is supposed to go up. There's a spring inside, and eventually you'll get it to where it's nice and free. So if you do get a leak around the edge, I don't really think that happens that often. The people, I think they're usually overfilling it, and then it comes out the side. But you can get JB Weld, or you could use maybe some other adhesive, or even maybe Vice Grip or something to clamp that back. But I've never seen any leak around these edges on the ones I've used. But some of the really inexpensive, cheap ones, people have said they do leak around this part, but you could fix that up. That's not a difficult thing. Maybe, you could probably even use shoe goop. Shoe goop fixes everything. And these are a lot more expensive than the ones you get at Walmart. These are like $28, $31, where the Walmart ones used to be $2 like 10 years ago. Now they're $7 or $8. As far as the oil, it burns kerosene, obviously. It's a kerosene lamp. Also, it burns the clear lamp oil, which is very expensive. Then you can burn the oil that has citronella in it that keeps away mosquito and bugs, which is a good idea. I think a lot of people use these for that purpose, because this small lamp doesn't burn that much oil compared to the bigger ones. So you could put citronella oil in here and keep your mosquitoes away from your area. But there's such a nice thing to have, because your solar lamps, if they break down, good luck fixing them. This is something you could mess around and fix probably if it was a problem. And you can use so many different types of fuel. I've even seen people online use olive oil. So I'm assuming if you can use olive oil, you could probably use corn oil, or heat up coconut oil. I'm not saying you can, but it looks like if you can use olive oil, you probably can use those too. And just don't use a highly flammable liquid like alcohol or gasoline. So I think some people have used diesel in them also, but I don't see it recommended in the literature. So, all right, guys, that's a quick introduction to the Dietz hurricane lantern, kerosene lantern. All right, guys, take care. Thanks for watching. I put on new videos every week. Been doing it for 15 years. Got over 1,100 videos. You never know what you're going to find, because I never know what I'm going to put out there. All right, guys, take care. See you out there.